Skinny Hot Always Southern T, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button there as well. We talk this good boxing, MMA, sports, parlays, predictions every single day, not just today. Today, we here with the UFC Vegas 99 fight breakdown and prediction. I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time. Let's go and get into it. In the first fight, we got Austin Lane versus Robles de Spain. They kind of rhyme a little bit. But in this fight, I think the best bet to be fight not to go the distance. I'm going with Robles de Spain to win this by KO. Austin Lane is a striker that's trying to be a wrestler now. But the problem with that is he doesn't have the gas tank to wrestle for 3 rounds. Robles de Spain is a sambo wrestler, kickboxer. They got exposed for being not a very good wrestler. But I don't think Austin Lane, has the gas tank to be the pressure wrestler that he wants to be. And most likely, Despain is going to catch up to him. And I got Despain by KO in this over Austin Lane. In the second fight, we got Alice Arlene versus Melissa Martinez. Not the most, exciting fight right now, one that I'm necessarily looking forward to. But as far as, the side, I'm going to go, the fight to go the distance or underdog or pass in this. This fight is really, too close to call women's MMA. I think it's best just to take these fights to go the distance most times because it's a toss-up, really, so this is a distance or dog or pass for me. Third fight on the card, we got Ellis Reed versus Jessica Pereira. If this fight was about 5 or 6 years ago, right, I'd take Jessica Pereira. But right now, I'm going to have to lean Ellis Reed. The best bet in this fight, I think, would be fight to go the distance. Reed is more of the grappler, and you got Pereira, who's more of the striker. I'm thinking, Reed being more in her prime. Not impressed with her skill, right? Not really impressed with either at this point in their career. But leaning Reed in this fight, the best bet would most definitely be fight to go the distance. The next fight, we got Jocelyn Edwards and we got Tamiris Vidal. I low-key think this fight is going to be a banger, not because these women are, the best in the division, just style, matchup-wise. I think this fight, 9 times out of 10, is going to be fought, standing up. I do think, Jocelyn Edwards, while I would edge her on the ground, she likes to, stand and strike too. But if the fight gets rough, I edge her, being able to wrestle or grapple if she needs to. Vidal is strictly stand up. She has almost 0 run game. I'm thinking Jocelyn Edwards is going to be able to win this fight, whether it's standing or on the ground. Pretty confident in this pick right here. Edwards on the money line, or you could take the over or the fight to go the distance. In the next fight, we got Brad Katana versus Gene Matsumoto. In this fight, I'm going to go with Gene Matsumoto. I ain't happy about it. I'm a fan of Brad Katana, but I think Gene Matsumoto is the more well-rounded fighter. If Brad is going to win this fight, he's going to win it with pace and, putting pressure on Gene. And I don't think Gene is the kind of fighter that, Brad Katana is going to be able to outpace. Brad Katana, you would think that he's a wrestler, but really his base is striking. I've seen him be, controlled on the ground before. Gene Matsumoto, I think, is better with the grappling and the wrestling. The striking could be about even. Some may even edge Gene, you know what I mean? But I'm more comfortable, with Gene than I am as the overall fighter, I guess. Hope I'm wrong about this pick, but, Gene Matsumoto, money line would be the play. In the next fight, we got Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. In this fight, I ain't gonna lie, I almost took Darren Elkins, with the pace. But I think Daniel Pineda, is more in his prime. So I'm going to ride with Daniel Pineda in this. I think best bet in this would maybe be the fight to go the distance or the over. I'm a fan of Darren Elkins. I do see a scenario where he could outwork Daniel Pineda, so I'm not had confidence on this. But, if you're asking me to pick a side, take the Pineda side. In the next fight, we got Asu Ambulayev versus Matthew Nikolai. Matthew Nikolai has lost his last two, got knocked out in both. Asu Ambulayev hasn't lost yet. His last couple fights have been, a bit closer than expected. I'm not really comfortable with either side in this. I say this is a dog or pass, right? I think Matthew Nikolai is the better striker. Ambulayev is better on the ground. If Matthew Nikolai is able to keep this fight standing up, I think he wins the striking exchanges. His problem is when he gets knocked out, right? Powerful strikers. Ambulayev isn't the guy you would consider to be the knockout puncher, right? So I say dog or pass in this. Matthew Nikolai or no play at all. Brady Hadenstein versus Jake Hadley. I was tempted to go Jake Hadley in this, but when I stopped and I thought about it, I do think Brady is the better overall MMA fighter. I think striking, while Hadley may have a slight boxing advantage, I think if the fight, comes to a grappling clinch situation, then Brady Handstand probably has a significant advantage. So I'm going to have to lean Brady in this. Not overly confident in it, right? But Brady should be able to edge it out. So I'm thinking Brady on the money line or Brady decision. Or if you don't want to play it safer, fight to go the distance or take the over. And in the next fight, we got Charles Energy Johnson versus Samadria. I'm probably butchering the name, so forgive me. But in this fight, I'm taking Charles Energy Johnson. Charles Energy Johnson has shown a significant striking improvement. He started as a wrestler, but wasn't really good. To be exact, he's kind of added. Not amazing power, but he's added, a little more power to his striking. Used to be kind of the pity pat kind of striking. Now he has a little more pop behind it. His wrestling has come full circle, and I think he may be turning into probably, a top 10, top 15, got to be reckoned with in his weight class. I'm taking him to win in this fight. Charles Johnson on the money line or Charles Johnson sub, right? Or you go double chance or something like that. Points, submission, Charles Johnson would be the call. Pretty high confidence. In the next fight, we got Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. I think Kyler Phillips is the more overall fighter. Rob Font is a game fighter in the stand-up game. I think if, Rob Font might be the more powerful of the two strikers. I think Kyler Phillips is more technical if it comes down to it. I think Kyler Phillips is able to, land some takedowns. He's able to mix up standing in the grappling, wrestling better. He shoots for takedown. He has an unreal ability to shoot for, the takedowns at just the right time, So I'm leaning Kyler Phillips being, comfortable in the stand-up and, in the wrestling and the grappling game. Rob Font wants to keep the fight standing for the most part. One thing I will look at is Kyler Phillips. It looks like he may have get gassed a little bit in his last fight. So maybe you want to keep an eye on that. But Kyler Phillips, money line, or Kyler Phillips on the points, pretty high confidence. And last, but most certainly not least, the best fight on the card, I think for sure, the hardest fight there was for me to predict for sure. We got Michael Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez. Michael Pereira, he is a guy, with grappling and submission, but he's been knocking guys out left or right. You'll forget about that right now. Anthony Hernandez will never let you forget about his grappling and his submission game because that's all he does. Is submit guys, takes them down, take them back. This is going to be an interesting style clash. I think because Anthony Hernandez, right, he has excellent submissions, but Pereira is no slouch on the ground as well. It's just lately he's been choosing to stand up. I think Anthony Hernandez takes on the more slick, kind of point style in the stand-up game, while Pereira is going for, the vicious knockout punches, unorthodox, right, with his style and Michael Pereira, but very effective. Again, this is one of the toughest fights for me to call. In a 5-round fight, I see this fight. I find it very hard, to see this fight going the distance. So I think the best bet would be fight not to go the distance, because I think somebody gets finished, whether it's knockout or submission by either fighter. If you're asking me to pick a side, my first mind says Anthony Hernandez because he's more technical, but I'm going to go with Michael Pereira. Maybe it's a biasness to it kind of thing because I'm a fan, but I think he's more dangerous with the hands, although I am afraid of Anthony Hernandez on the ground with those submissions. But if anybody could probably avoid it, right, avoid either the takedown or avoid the submissions altogether, maybe, and keep it standing, or even, be able to slap on one of his own submissions, right, it's Michael Pereira. So I'm going to go with Michael Pereira on the side pick. But I think the best bet would be that fight not to go the distance. But, let's go and put together these money plays and these parlays. And here you have my most confident outcome section, not to be confused with a best bet section. This is kind of the opposite of a best bet section, right? Because not all of these are great, bets, right? But I do think all of these are pretty safe outcomes. This is like, safety outcome section, right? But I'm going to give you a second to take a look over that. You can hit pause right here and shut me up so you can look at it in peace. Or, you can listen to me ramble a little bit. But I'm going to give you this, which would be a safety outcome section, right? I'm going to give you a best bet section. Then we're going to do my actual parlay section. Dispain, Edwards, Johnson, Phillips. If you're asking me the fighters that I have the most confidence in, you take those four, put them together, parlay them. That'll get you to plus 200. Utmost confidence. You can pause it right here if you want to stop on the screen. But these are my 4 most confident fights.